I heard about cleanslate on that call in, was it third week of March in 2020? Mm-hmm. And Clayton talked about toxicity.
I believe it was March 17th.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, 2 years ago. And Clayton talked about toxicity and about clean slate and how toxicity is the root cause of disease. I thought, right, I've got to try this. So I got the product on the 7th of April, and not only did I notice better energy, physical, mental, less triggered by stuff, even though I just lost mum and, you know, the lockdowns, whatever, but really, really lucid dreams and very vivid dreams. And I can still remember parts of those dreams that I had like 2 years ago. And when Clayton said that this is because your pineal gland was being decalcified, I was absolutely blown away, because I'd probably spent at least $300 on products which claim to decalcify the pineal gland, and this does it as a side effect. Obviously, then I got zero in. My clarity just got clearer, you know, and then, but also, and then with Restore as well, I noticed that my digestion was a lot better, and I actually felt it tingle throughout my body. And, you know, great for my skin and whatever. But also the community, this community is the best community that I've ever been a part of, because we learn so much. I mean, I direct everyone to your calls, Doc, you know, because we learn so much. We probably know more than most doctors, let's face it, mainstream medical doctors, because of what we're learning about what the different metals and toxins and, you know, et cetera do. You know, and about autism and what the pineal gland does and the endocrine system, et cetera, et cetera. So, and, you know, let's face it, you know, we get great entertainment every single week from Clayton, twice a week. So, and, you know, the business is pretty good, the business model, but the products are just outstanding. I mean, the outcomes we're getting, we have never seen before. And it's just a real joy and a pleasure to be, you know, just getting hit by testimonials on a daily basis about how these products are changing so many people's lives.
You could have knocked him over in the camper.
Who's that?
Yeah.
You mute.
So that's all I have to say, Doc, to be honest.
Thank you, Sandy. Clayton, you have anything to say?
To him? Never. He always blows my phone up. I think the fun part is for everyone to understand that, you know, as Sandy's talked about with his story, it's a matter of, you know, just figuring out what you have as your purpose, and part of what his passion and purpose is helping other people. And, you know, if you're willing to do that, because we're all capable, but if you're willing to do so, I mean, now's the point where you can have a pretty dramatic impact on a lot of people's lives and get rewarded really well for doing it. And like Sandy was talking about, we have this amazing community of, as Christina says, very imperfect pieces to a perfect puzzle. I mean, you look at, you know, we have like 175 people that are here right now, and there's a wide array of personalities and multiple continents and countries and backgrounds and such. I mean, philosophical, you know, foundations that we all have that are different, yet we're all here doing the same thing, which is trying to get a little bit better and have fun doing it. I never thought I'd be hanging out with someone that, you know, was, you know, like Harry's background, you know, and being able to have fun with people and be able to have, fun and hang out with people who have a better goatee than I have now, like Alfred. And I think this is the fun part of just bringing all these little musketeers together and creating this amazing squirrel militia. So.
Yeah, I'd like to say something because I kind of agree with all that. And when Dory and I started the whole podcast, we were in other MML. We don't like that anymore. But I myself personally was looking for something that got to the root of the problem, which I was doing anyway, but something worked with the other products I was working with in Harley Street with the flowers. But I also wanted to see, is the integrity there? The integrity of the product? Is the science behind it? Is the passion behind it? Tick, Clayton, on all that. And that's what impressed me. And when Dory introduced me to Root and knew Christina and knew you were cooking something up, it's before you even launched, we thought, let's get cooking here. Let's get doing some educational things, which we were doing before anyway. So, and then the whole thing just exploded. And that's what the lovely community and support with everybody. And we're all quite, as you say, different, a little bit out of the box.
Somebody's getting banned.
Satan, I want to say to you personally, thank you for all that you've done, for bringing this and this unique business as well, because it's got aspect to, it's a new paradigm, which continues to excite me.
Don't blame me yet.
Okay.
I am yet to speak in London. You can blame me.
That's on the pineal gland. Yeah.
Can you believe you guys are going to put me on the stage for an hour at this show in London? Do you have any idea that they might deport me in about 45 minutes?
They're going to love you. They're going to love you because they're going to be running to the kind of people that can totally appreciate you for sure.
I'm going to
I did ask if you wanted some slides.
Claire, give the dates again. Give the dates, Claire. If people want to join.
Okay, so it's the Easter weekend. Yeah, and anybody, please do come. It's the Easter weekend in April, so it's the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th at Olympia in London. So we'd love to see anybody who's in or even wants to come across. We'd love to see you.
It's
going to be eyes and head. I beg your pardon. Go on.
It's called the Mind, Body and Spirit Show at Olympia.
Wellness show.
Oh, sorry, the Wellness Show. Mind, Body and Spirit Wellness Show, I think.
It's the largest show in Europe. Is it not, Claire?
And it shall never be the same. Because for the first time, the UK is going to be introduced to Ginger Keanu.
Is he on our call right now?
But he might be in
with
full
you guys being there as well.
No, he's not on. Okay, anyone else would like to share something?
Kathy Jo probably has something to say. She's had some good experiences.
Oh yeah, Kathy Jo, let's hear from you.
She was just making a comment, so I'll put her on the spot.
We can also hear from Birgit. She's an up and rising star. I remember when Birgit first started. She only had like a handful of people. Now look at her.
Yep.
You always like to put me on the spot, Clay.
That's right.
Gosh, where do I begin? I mean, at the onset of COVID, Brenda reached out to me and told me about it. And I'm like, no, I really don't need this. I'm good. I'm using XYZ. I thought I was healthy. She sent some info anyway, called me a week later. Kathy Jo, did you get a chance to check that out? And, of course, again, I kind of put her off. And she goes, Kathy Jo, listen, this is different. This gets to the root of the problem. That's all it took, you guys. I mean, a light bulb went off. So Teresa's who I called first, my sister, And I had no clue there was even any business thing involved here. I don't know. I just felt this is what people need. Finally, true healthcare. And it's just been an amazing journey ever since. I ended up losing half my hair, found out I was tested high in lead. And I was kind of freaking out. I remember messaging Clayton, I've lost half my hair. And he's like, oh, don't worry, it'll grow back. And I remember thinking, yeah, right. You're a guy, but he was absolutely right. It was probably just 2.5 months later, it started growing like crazy. I remember combing my hair over to the other side, and that's how I noticed it. And my bangs were very, very thick for new growth and probably about 3 inches long. And I was super stoked. So, of course, I had to let him know, how excited I was. But it's not only thicker, but how quick it grew. And it restored my hair back to my toddler curls. I mean, I had super straight hair most of my life. My ear would stick out in school. I was always embarrassed. I wouldn't hold a curl. And now my beautician, is jealous of my hair. So I even have to get it thinned. So that's pretty cool at 61 years old that you have to have your hair thinned, And so that's just one thing that it did. I ended up finding out through this life screening test that my risk for osteo went from low to high in just 1 year. Well, then the next year when I got tested, which was 21, it was way back in the yellow again. And the only thing I did different was, drum roll, clean slate. And it just all made sense. It's like, well, duh, menopausal, leaching lead, out of the bones, taking all these precious minerals. No wonder. And it's just done so many things with energy and sleep and weight and wrinkles, motivation, just a number of things. But one thing I remember very, very clear was when we were there in April last year and the restore came. That was such a blessing because I ended up with a frozen shoulder. Driving down, something was going on, had no clue. I was in excruciating pain. We did see Clayton around 12:30, sat in his lobby for a couple hours, all having our own amazing experience with this. And, Teresa felt high and I felt uplifted. And, that was an ongoing joke for a while. But what I decided to do that night was to spray some clean slate because I would spray it as a toner. I'd put it in a glass spritzer. So I sprayed that on my arm as well as put the restore topically. I really had no clue how I was going to sleep that night. I was in so much pain, but I didn't move a muscle. I slept so good. But when I woke up Saturday morning, it was even worse. And I had no clue. How are we going to get to you guys again to do that call, the international call with Dr. Christina? But it's like, no, I've got to just repeat what I did. And I did it. And keep in mind, guys, I couldn't do much of anything. Couldn't undress, barely could, do anything. It was that severe. So needless to say, I made it to the call on Saturday. And the next week we were supposed to be going to Gatlinburg for a whole week. And, when I woke up Saturday morning, Pete goes, let's just go home. Well, let's just head back to Ohio. And I could not even imagine being on the road. Okay. So stuck through it. Long story short, we ended up going to Gatlinburg. And on Sunday at 5:00, I remember after everything was unloaded, putting my hands in the back of me and just, are you kidding me? Throwing them straight up in the air. Okay, guys, that was just starting this restore on Friday. 2 days later, it was like nothing had ever happened. And I know what it's like to have a frozen shoulder because it happened on the other side. And it was months and months of pain and slow therapy. And it takes forever to move just a little bit. So that was just, yeah. So, I mean, it's a lifer for me. It certainly is. So thank you, Clayton and Dr. Christine and all you guys for what you've done and what you're doing. And I just love impacting people's lives like this.
Why did you call Teresa first?
because she was very ill. She had gadolinium toxicity, and she was getting a little bit of relief with something that I recommended, but it wasn't enough, and I didn't know this till she got on the call with Dr. Dory, that I'm going to get emotional. She made an intentional trip to the woods. And she said God showed her grandchildren. So she left. And initially she was afraid to try it because she had tried other chelations and it nearly killed her. She had been to a naturopath, really wasn't getting any benefit. And she had so much going on because of those 12 years of CAT scans. I think there's like 30 of them in a 12-year period, and MRIs and stuff. And she had a brain tumor. She had thyroid cancer. She was just a mess. And so it took about a month for her to say, okay, Kathy Jo, I have nothing else to try, and it was amazing. Just her first day, what a drop did for her. And I mean, she's kind of like a poster child. So she's had amazing experiences with every product ever since. And, talk about life changing. So how can you not want to shout it to the world?
Yeah, she certainly has. I mean, not just that, but I mean, just her whole appearance has changed. I mean, she looks so great. Is she on the call today?
Yes, she is. I saw her earlier.
Oh, where is she?
Teresa, she's probably cleaning a house.
Oh, okay.
Which she couldn't even do. I mean, it's amazing what she can do now. Are you there, Teresa? Let me see if she's still in the list.
I saw her there. Whether or not she's at a point where she's
maybe she can't talk.
Available.
Yeah, she's present, just probably can't talk right now. But
hey, I'm here.
Hey,
Hey, I'm not cleaning the house. I lost my phone, but no, I'm here. It's been amazing. It's been a journey. You about made me cry, Kathy Jo, because that's all the truth. God is good. I mean, it's amazing that this product has done what it's done for me, because it's changed a lot of things for me. It's given me my life back. I would never, ever be thinking about doing what I'm doing right now. And I'd already done one already, or just doing what I'm doing. So I thank y'all for everything. And if Kathy wouldn't have reached out to me and said, you know what, this product's different, and there's different products that don't necessarily do the same thing, but just give it a try. I said no, because I said no. The last product that I tried, it literally, I'm not joking, it almost killed me. And I felt like I was going to go to the hospital, and I said no. And she said, Teresa, they're not created equal, please. And I said, no, I'm not. So it took, like she said, about a month to be convinced that, you know what, I'll give it a try, because I was at my last. I could not go on anymore. I couldn't deal with it anymore. I was done. And so, like she said, I went to the woods, and I mean, it was just like, okay, I'm going to give this one more try, because if I don't, there's no life in that. There really isn't. So here I am, and I'm telling you, I feel amazing.
Well,
I look probably tired. I'm sweating. It's really hot here, and so I probably don't. I look a mess, but I'm telling you, when I look in the mirror, you're right, Dory. I don't look the same. I just don't feel the same. It's changed my whole life. It really has.
Wonderful to see.
Yes. Can't wait for the other ones to come out. I'm really excited to try them all.
You're not alone.
Thank you, Clayton. I appreciate you. I really do. You and Christina are amazing. And I love you forever. I'll owe my life to you.
You owe me nothing. It's all yours. It's all your fault.
Yes.
Isn't that the fun part of
I'm
making?
ready to get rid of some of my wrinkles though, but a lot of them are going away. But I'm telling you, I'd like to get rid of a lot of them because I feel like I've went back. I'm 60, but I feel like I've reversed.
Yep.
And so I don't feel like I'm 60. I feel like I'm back where I started even before I got my brain tumor. So possible I got my life back. I got the years back. So pretty amazing.
You posted a picture on, I think, your Facebook page with your daughter and I think your sister and a couple people, and you look closer in age to your daughter than you did your sister.
Yes. And that wasn't a good day for me. That was like we just decided to do it, and we got up, got our clothes on, and so. But yeah, they're looking at me. People are looking at me different. Like, what are you doing? And I'm trying to share it with them and telling them, but it doesn't resonate. So, like I said, you talk to them. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So. There's been a couple of people that I've talked to that I've shared, and they've
It's interesting. It's interesting you use that analogy because that analogy that you just used actually applies quite well to our world, and I don't know if everyone understands this and why that analogy is actually used. Of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Right. And there's a reason for that because horses can sense what's in the water. So if you're riding a horse and you go to a stream or you go to a pond and the horse won't drink, it's not that the horse is stubborn. It's that the horse knows that he'd poison himself if they drank it. That's the reason they won't drink. And if you're on a horse and you're going to a water source and the horse won't drink, you don't either. So it's interesting you use that because it applies to everything that we're doing. And a toxic, and it was the new FAQs are being redone, and Christina shot a bunch of really good FAQ videos. I think some people have seen the Clean Slate, the why Clean Slate is different video that she did. Talk about checkmate. It's phenomenal. But she, in one of the videos, because I haven't gone through all of them, but we were playing them in the office and I was in earshot. And there was a remark that she made that was so profound. And I think she was just in the flow of saying it, but I'd never applied it. And it was this, and I have it written down here on my little notes on the bottom of my page here. But it's this. Do you know how many times you've heard people talk about their supplements having something unique to make it more bioavailable, right? That our supplements are special because they're more bioavailable.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Is the issue that what you're consuming isn't bioavailable, or are you not bioavailable?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's more accurate.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being able to actually address both sides of it, we make people more bioavailable, but also everything that we do has a much higher level of bioavailability on its own right for both reasons. They're made better.
Well, I've been on it for almost 2 years. Well, it's probably been 2 years now, and I just now got my son. He's using it now, and I'm telling you, he's loving it. And I said, that's all I tried to tell you a year ago. But, that's what I'm saying. It just, and then I shared it with a group that I was in, and they said, okay, well, we'll do it. And she texted me, said, oh, man, it's amazing. I love the testimonials, but I haven't seen her order anything yet. So just got to keep working on them. You know what I'm saying? So that's all we can do is, and then you see the evidence because it's in me, what it's done for me. So
that's just it. That's the most important part of everything that we're doing and talking with people. And there's so much garbage out there where people try to pitch stuff for money, and many people have asked about the opportunity that Root possesses for people from an income basis. And, I'm pretty clear with people when they ask initially, I'm like, there isn't one. Because until you've had your own personal experience, and it's not really being sold, it's more being convicted. Like you can hear from Teresa, there's a level of conviction. You hear from like Kathy Joe, there's a level of conviction, that comes from having experience. And it's one of the things I love about Harry, because Harry has a much different perspective on how he approaches things. But with his experience, with where he's come from, and then what his experience is, where you see that conviction. And those are things that you can't argue with. You might not agree with the person. You might not agree. You might look at them as a family member and go, yeah, you're the black sheep. But when you look at the outcomes and you look at the conviction that comes along with it, those are things that you can't argue with. And then it goes beyond anything in sales. It's a matter of just living and walking and letting people see that. So I'm going to put a person on blast here so she can, I don't know if the person that I'm going to ask about is here, but I'm going to force her to share this, because I just heard about this instance it might have been on Monday. What's today? Tuesday? No, it was last week. So Claire, you have a friend of yours that had a little bit of an ovarian issue. I don't know if she's here.
Yeah. No, Susan. No, she's not. That's my literary agent, Susan, who had, I think we probably, Dory, do you think it's probably almost stage 4 ovarian? No, uterine cancer. And she's been on the Clean Slate and the Restore, just literally having it, now going on to the greens. And we did the protocol, plus we did worked with allopathic, because it was pretty serious and you've got to really go at it all guns. So she had the chemotherapy, a bit of radiotherapy, supported the treatment with the Clean Slate, with the Restore, lots of it. And just a few days ago, she rang me, just come back from the hospital, and she said, I've got the medical all clear, no sign whatsoever of cancer.
And this was, how long of a process was this?
Gosh, it wasn't that long, actually. Beginning of middle of it was the autumn, wasn't it, Dory? Do you remember when?
I thought, wasn't it like almost a year? Or maybe it was 9 months.
9 months. Maybe 9 months.
She was stage 4, correct?
Yeah, I mean, on the verge with 3 or 4, but I think because she delayed her treatments, I think it was probably stage 4. Yeah.
And I think if you're stage 4, that's pretty good, because there's only 4 stages. And usually when you get to the 4th one, you're not winning.
Yeah. It's pretty unheard of that there's a complete reversal. So that's the power of what these products can do.
Maybe she can help you write a book on it.
Oh, yes. I wonder if it's going to be called Cancer. I think there are 3 girls writing on that in that book, and she would like to be one of the case histories.
So, but I
it's pretty astounding.
It's an important point of kind of like we've hit on numerous times before, that there's no individual that one can't be served. But there's really no one that you have around you, or the people that you follow, or the people that work for you, the people that you respect, that you think, oh, well, they wouldn't want what I have, or they wouldn't want what I'm using. I will tell you, because we're starting to see this, that the more, I'll say, high functioning someone is, the more benefits they are going to derive from what you're giving them access to. Is Lori, hold on, is Lori here? Because I'm going to, I received a note, or a video note from her, because she was getting some guidance from someone else in the in the community that might be doing, we're going to be adding some things with. She's not here. Oh, hold on. Let me see if she's around. But let me see if I can play this real quick. It's better to hear things than repeat them. And she's not here, and we're not recording this. Everything's always recorded, but let me.
Not this
Oh,
one.
wow. Andy's looking amazing here already. So let me play this for you.
Hey, Clayton, very quick one, mate. Yeah, 6 is perfect.
No, not that one. This one.
To tell you that my meetings today went really great. Could not have gone better. And my contact at the Green Bay Packer organization is extremely interested. He already spoke to one of the trainers and waiting for the doctor to return next week to talk to him more about potentially learning more about what I've got to offer. And I just have tears of gratitude streaming down my face right now.
See, how cool is that? So Lori was getting a little guidance from a couple other people that we have in the community about reaching out to people that she has relationships with. And I guess one of her past relationships just so happens to work with the Green Bay Packers. And if you don't know who they are, they're a National Football League team that happens to have one of my favorite football players because Aaron Rodgers loves ivermectin. Aaron Rodgers is going to love zero in. I'm going to tell you that right now. Mm-hmm. He will go off on 3-0 in before games. He might throw for 27 touchdowns in a game just for shits and giggles. But the aspect of understanding that there is no level of perceived achievement that someone has that's even above you. The people, like I say, the people that you follow, the people that you idolize are the people that really, really want what you have. And you have to just create the gumption, I think is one word to use. And the understanding that you are worthy. I think that's the real cool part. It's kind of like what Teresa was talking about. She went for a walk in the woods with the expectation of maybe not coming back. But now look at what she's doing. I mean, she's a beacon of light that she really hasn't touched on much yet. I don't know why, because I've told her maybe I have to kick her in the ass a little bit on this. But the issues that Teresa had been enduring are something that affects thousands upon thousands of people continually, because in the traditional methods, there is no therapy for it. She had a brain tumor. She went through multiple dye contrast MRIs. And because of that, she was loaded with radioactive isotopes like gadolinium that are the dye contrast, but those don't leave the body. It's a caustic, toxic, heavy metal that you just get overburdened with. Even a little bit is not good, but when you have like 30 of them, like she did, it's not a very good deal to have. There's no treatment for this stuff. I mean, Chuck, if you know who Chuck Norris is, his wife or ex-wife has massive issues with this issue. She's actually sued drug companies over it. Yet Teresa's in the position where she is the recovery story that once she's ready, she is that beacon that other people can look at to say, you suffered from the same thing I was going through. You know my pain, but you no longer have it. What did you do? People see that when they listen to Christina talk, right? And she's a Lyme survivor. She's had cancer multiple times, brain tumor, spine tumor, all different types of skin cancer, lost kids to cancer. Kreider, our 17-year-old, had cancer when he was 2. They're all here, right? So the key part to understand is that you all are a gift, and you all have gifts, and it's actually the one thing that we used to teach our college kids when I was training basketball players when I was back home. And you can apply it to this, because what we told our kids when it comes to effort, right, in training and in competition and such, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. And you guys are all a gift to humanity, and you're given other gifts because you're here for a reason, and it is your responsibility to take that and provide that to other people. And the really cool part is you get rewarded in more than one way. Nicole Grantis made some comments in the chat. I think she's got her son right now. He's not feeling good, so she's listening, but she's here. She just achieved platinum, and I think she's been with us for like 4 months. She's an absolute monster. You should see some of her TikToks and whatnot. I mean, it's you can learn a lot from following people in the community on social media as to what they're doing to communicate. But when you get to share, and the monetary rewards are nice, right? Because it gives you an opportunity to do things, right? Maybe it's pay groceries, maybe it's pay for a car note, maybe it's, go for a vacation with your kids, or send your daughter on vacation for her birthday, or, maybe it's buy a new house or a new car, or, be comfortable enough to give somebody enough money as a tip or gratuity that they look at you when you give it to them and they ask if something was wrong, if it's too much. That's one of the best things to do, is to tip someone so well that they go, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I did it." But the greater reward is what Nicole talked about, and it's what I love every day. It's what I love about social media, is to have feedback from people on how this gift that you shared with them has impacted their life, or a family member's life, or a child's life. There's no amount of money than you can ever receive that will compare to those gifts. I remember the first time I had a parent call me, and it was actually one of my first investor with my first manufacturing company. I didn't know who he was, didn't know that he was a big money manager and whatnot, but he called with the friend that had given him a bottle and said, "Look, I have a 14-year-old son who's nonverbal, that's been nonverbal since he was 2. And as a father and as a man, to not be able to do anything to help my son has been the hardest thing in my life. And you gave that back to me." Because in like a week, the kid came downstairs and was talking to him. It's like, "I need to get my drops. They make me feel better." And this kid hadn't spoken since he was 2. When you get feedback like that, you really don't need much else. You just go, "Okay, I got one." I'm fortunate that over the last 17 years, I've been able to rack up a bunch of those. So, I can cite sources when I'm ready to move on in about 100 years and get rid of the skin suit. And they get to ask me, "Oh, what have you done?" I'm like, "All right, let me go back through this." I'm like, "I got that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That one was really cool. You remember that one? That was cool." Because there's just nothing more that you can get from that. So it's like, listening to Claire and listening to Teresa, and, there's so many people here that, if you guys actually took the time to go back to the people that you've already shared things with, because I know, we've got I think we're close to 70,000 customers now. I mean, you look at the impact on people's lives, it's absolutely outstanding. So let me see. Hannah and Michelle have their hand up. Michelle wins.
Hi. It's been a little bit since I have done any sharing. And so since we seem to be doing a little bit of that, I'm going to. I just got back from spending a week and a half with my amazing root baby, my granddaughter. She is 14 months old now. And I'm telling you, she does not cease to amaze me. Just the fact that for that week and a half, I was her sole caregiver. Okay. I'm 62 years old and I have some limitations, but hey, it was a great week. Okay. Even though some nights she kept me up till 3 a.m, just playing her heart out. But anyway, this little one, I always go back to the developmental stages where they say kids are supposed to be doing this at certain ages and stuff. But, from the beginning, I could tell that things were different than they were with my kids anyway. And so now where she's at, I mean, she started walking at 8 months old. And so I am watching this child walk and crawl backwards as fast as she does forward. She is functioning at a 2-year-old level in many ways. She says a lot of things. She repeats words. She has a great understanding. It's just phenomenal to see where she's at such a young age. It's almost scary. But her mom took the clean slate before she got pregnant and all along, and she gets it every day still. And I really truly believe that it has made all the difference. I don't know. Her stages have been ahead all the way along, and her pediatricians are like, wow. They don't want to hear about anything so much, but they're amazed at where she's at. And I'm going to put myself out there just a little bit because I usually don't video, but I'm going to. When you're talking about hair, I've always had tons and tons of hair. And I went through a phase here the last year. I lost a lot of hair. It was long. It was super long, all the way down. But it was getting really thin toward the end. And so a couple of months ago, I started noticing I wasn't shedding as much. I mean, I would handfuls of hair every time I would comb or shower. And a couple of months ago, I decided to just cut my hair to a point where it felt a little bit thicker, and so I went way short. I think I probably took about 8 or 10 inches off my hair. But I'm here to tell you that it has made all the difference in the world in how my hair feels. It's a lot thicker. And so I can be one of, I can attest to the hair thing. I mean, my hair has always been a kind of my crown kind of thing. And so when I was losing it, it bothered me a lot. People have always envied my curls. And of course, I don't know, something did weird with my curls after I cut it, but I'm sure they'll come back. But anyway, it's great. And so just a quick update there with especially the granddaughter. Anybody who has any reservations about using the clean slate, during pregnancy or with their babies. And she takes Restore too. I give it to her, especially when I'm there. She's kind of hit and miss. Mom gives it to her here and there, but I gave it to her while I was there, and she loves it. She sees me coming and she gets excited. And so that's all.
How cool is that? We love root babies.
We do. They are amazing.
Anna, you can go, and then I'm going to pull Astrid because I don't know if you guys saw Astrid's comment in the chat. I'm going to pull her.
Amazing comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Henning.
Yeah. You hear me now?
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. I love these lectures. I'm a student reading craniosacral therapy with Jürgen Schomberg at the Cyprus.
Oh, yeah.
And these products help me to focus a lot and also to understand how the body works. I love your lectures, Dory.
Thank you.
And I also had a very tough life and a car accident with a whiplash trauma in the 90s. So I've been having severe pains for over 25 years and very much pains in my legs also. But that stopped when I've been taking the products. And slowly, I'm getting better. And I hope to get well enough and have no pain. I'm 67 years now, but I still feel young. And I feel also that my body heals. I've been on CBD earlier, but I can't take that any longer because I'm so dizzy in the morning with that. So I'm on all products since the beginning of this year, and cleanslate and serene since November. And it's improving. I'm so grateful for what you have done. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Christina's visiting your colleague right now.
I know.
We'll see how that goes. She's getting some sleep right now, so that'll be good. Okay, so I got to find her. Where'd she go? There she is. Astrid, you just had a great comment, but can you share a little bit more on what you posted?
So do I have to speak English or shall I speak German? Because the Germans have the translation.
Yes, speak English,
right?
Most of this is translate into German for you.
Okay, I had the first time breast cancer in 2013. I did the regular way that time. I stopped the chemo 2013, and I was 7 years without cancer. I'm working as an Ayurvedic health coach, I would say. So I'm doing all this nature stuff all the time. And my cancer came back just with Corona 1 week after the first lockdown here in Hamburg. And I had all these treatments, all these, I don't know the words. I had the MRT, the CT, all these things they do when you have cancer. And then they decided that I need an operation in my spine. Then I had 10 times radiation and 18 times chemo weekly. And I think I shouldn't have made this so good. I'm pretty strong and I have a really good mental mind. I'm doing meditation every single day. I'm a yoga teacher as well. But you have all these side effects with chemo. You can take so many supplements like you want to. You have these side effects. There's no way to go away from that. And in the end of last year, I saw on Facebook all the time that Ilona was posting something about detoxing. And I was a little bit noisy. So I wrote her a message. And then in the beginning of January, I decided to buy the cleanslate. And I was starting in the second week of January. And I think 3 or 4 days later, I was walking with my dog, and I recognized that I walked differently. Before I had the feeling that I'm like a prisoner in a body from a 90-year-old woman. I was really walking slow. All my bones were hurting me. My knee was really bad. And all this were gone already on the 4th day. And then I decided to also order Zero In and Restore. And even my sons, they are like, my older son is 26 years old, and my teenager is 17. They are a little bit annoyed about me because of all these like essential oils and supplements and all this. We are talking a lot about this, and I was like, you have to take this here. And my 17-year-old son, he said, okay, I'm gonna try it. And he has really bad eczema. And also this is gone. And yeah, now I'm talking about it everywhere where I am. I'm telling the people they have to try it. And if not, I can help them. It's for me, it's the best thing to take all these products. Yeah. So this was a little bit surprising for me that I have to talk in front of a camera and also in English.
You did great.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And even my doctor, she's also now on cleanslate, Zero In, and Restore.
Wow. I mean, that's a testament to what the products do, the outcomes that we get. So for everyone that's been on this call that has given a testimonial, please go to ScienceNutritionSociety.com, fill out the case study, because we really need the case study for the outcomes. Thank you again. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Clay, do you have anything to say?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see here.
Stephanie has her hand up.
We need to hear more from Stephanie, though.
Yes, because I really want to take the opportunity just to thank all of you to have created this space, you, Dory, Claire, Clayton, and I cannot share a huge personal testimonial, because when I just heard about Kathy Jo, about Astrid, and all of the other amazing testimonials, but that's what this is all about. Even though I didn't have any personal health challenges at the beginning when I started with Root, but for me, it's just what we see and what we hear from others. So it's so important, and I just wanted to take this opportunity just to thank all of you for bringing this up. And just as Sandy said at the beginning, we even know more than some doctors do, and this is just something. We're about to create a paradigm shift. We're about to create a new lifestyle, and more importantly, a new world for this. And we bring people into more bodily sovereignty and just to be able to create a sovereign life. So that's why I just wanted to thank you for all of you.
You know how cool it was? Remember back in December of 2019 when we had the conversation in the lobby at the convention center, and we had our little chit chat, and I told you that you were going to be able to step up and have a profound impact on a lot of people. And you were going to.
Thank you for that. I do remember, and that meant a lot to me back then.
How's that working out for you?
Pretty good. And for me, well, just to think, maybe to say a personal thing, I started using Clean Slate in, I think, well, a little bit early, since I did have the opportunity. But I did see results not until July, August of 2020. And for me, it was summertime. Of course, it was bikini time. And I heard all of the teachings. What about heavy metals and how they are stored and all of this? What I've seen is my body changed. And I'm not huge, but I did see some changes. And then for me, it was this aha moment and saying, okay, this does work. And now we just have to go on. And after a while, I remember Will's testimonials back in, I think it was September, October. This was for me a breakthrough to say, okay, we have to bring this to even more people. And then I think it was it Theresa with the gadolinium? I don't know. There are so many amazing testimonials. And I think, oh my gosh, this world is just so toxic. And thank you all.
So you've seen, I would bet, and you can probably speak to this, you've seen more on the mental, emotional, spiritual side than you have the physical, right? Yes. And overcoming some of the emotional blocks of just letting go of things that inhibit you from being who you're capable of becoming. Would you agree?
I totally agree. And we've just had a call before this call, and this is something I always like to bring up. The past 2 years have been kind of challenging for the most of us. And of course, we all have our ups and downs. So did I. But just knowing myself like 3 years ago, I think I would have probably gone very, very deep and very low. And so I know that this helped me a lot.
Good.
Just to get through this time and still being very hopeful and very positive in what kind of world we are creating.
That's what's so marvelous about the whole thing that we've created, is not only the support we've given each other, but we actually have solutions to know what we know is going to be coming, but also working on ourselves. And that's what's so extraordinary about it.
Because we cannot change an existing reality. We just have to, we don't want to go too deep into this right now.
You said.
But we can create something better and make this other part obsolete. So
it helps you to see the possibilities. It helps you to think outside the box. And that's what's so unique about it.
Yes, thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Stephanie.
See, Christian has her hand raised. Ms. Monsenreiter. I can ask her to unmute, see if she can find the right button.
I think she's looking.
Now, yes. Yes, my name is Christiane. Yeah, and can I ask a question?
Always. You might not get an answer, but you can ask the question.
Okay. Is there experience with epilepsy and with depression?
Yes.
Okay. Only experience. I'm asking.
There's somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Somebody said that they can say something about it. I don't know who it was, but she said.
I think Teresa.
Was that Teresa? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Teresa.
yeah, it was Teresa.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself then.
Yeah.
Whoever said that.
She's got to respond.
Okay, I did have wasn't diagnosed with epilepsy with my brain tumor, but I was having seizures that resulted in bad depression. So I ended up, when I started the Clean Slate, I take no seizure medicine at all. And I was on 2 or 3 different kinds, and it was a mess. But when I got on Clean Slate, I had no more of those activities in my brain whatsoever. So epilepsy, no, but seizures, yes. And that activity is completely gone for me. I have none of that at all. And then also the depression has gone completely. So if that helps,
and
it's gone. I have none of it. I was taking Deplico and
zero in is compatible with antidepressiva.
Is it compatible?
Yeah. It's really a combination, of understanding biology, because I'm not going to talk about treating issues that you were discussing, but if we're looking at working with the entire system, right? I have to, I guess USA Today wants an article from me for some stuff on the microbiome, and they're one of the people's writing an article on the microbiome of the gut, and they wanted a product. I'm like, no, there's not a product. Here's 4, because this entire system is really complex, and I think the hard part is we've been promoted solutions to say, take this one thing, it'll make this better, which is not true, right? You have to address the entire system, and that's where, when you look at epilepsy, and I actually had a friend of mine in college die. He was a defensive lineman at Washington State when I was there. He got drafted by the Los Angeles Raiders in the first round, signed a multi-million-dollar contract. Before he even got to go to his first practice, he was at his apartment, had an epileptic seizure that he didn't know he had epilepsy, had an epileptic seizure, went down, hit his head, died.
Oh, goodness.
Horrible. And when you look at the causes of these issues, you can look at epilepsy, you can look at depression, you can look at anxiety, you can look at, stress and such. Stress is a little bit of a different one because there's so many different factors on it. But the causes, the etiology of all of those issues all come from the same thing. It's all neurotoxicology. It's heavy metals, different environmental toxins mixed in with a few things that start up here and work systemically. So you have to address those. But then you also have to take care of your gut. You've got to clean up, as we've gone over numerous times here. And actually I can say for many, many hours, right, Dory? of addressing your gut and how you do that, but then also boosting your neurotransmitters so you feel good. And now, because of the introduction of the Rootverse to some people in different areas, now we're starting to get into performance sports, and looking at athletes and what they're doing, and what many people don't understand. And we're seeing this exacerbated so heavily over the last 2 to 3 years because of the environment, and that athletes, we put them on a pedestal, right? To say, oh, you're elite, you're special, you have this athletic prowess, you're so much better than the rest of us, you're so special. But they're not. They have, either genetic gifts or skill gifts, but they're all human. And you can see in different professional sports that the issues, what they're calling mental health, are so profound. You have the top tennis player in the world on the female side that didn't even want to play last year and this year because of her mental health. You have basketball players that are having to take time off. You have football players of the real football and American football that are having to go away from the game because of their mental health issues. all of those are easily resolved, but it's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the position of not wanting to sound arrogant, because Christina says I come across as arrogant because of, and it's interesting when you look at arrogance. Arrogance is actually just extreme confidence. That's all it is. And then it's a matter of interpretation, right? So is the person being arrogant, or is, because communication is a medium, is the person actually receiving those responses, just not receiving it properly? But when you know you're good at something, you can be cocky because you know you're good and you know you're going to do the things that you're capable of doing. We're in that position. And Christina gets on me about it at times, because when I talk to people that say they have issues, I'm like, yeah, it's a cakewalk. You're going to do this and this and this. Because we know that's what's going to work. But there's a caveat. There is no silver bullet, and it doesn't take place quickly, right? That's the key. This is not something that you do once or twice. And we have people that are like, I used one bottle of Clean Slate and I used some Zero In and I didn't feel anything. Well, one, you're not asking yourself the right questions. Two, Rome wasn't built in a day either, right? And it sure wasn't deconstructed in a weekend. It takes some time to clean up this mess that we've built. And that's what's really important to understand. But through these amazing mechanisms that Christine has created, whether it's your brain wiring not communicating properly, or that the neurotransmission that's taking place in your brain has a hiccup every once in a while. That's what epilepsy is. I mean, you have signals that are going off, and every once in a while it goes, Doop. It's like, oh, that one didn't connect properly. You go, and there's a seizure for you. And, it's just understanding that if you are clear in understanding that virtually everything that we're dealing with is all environmental. I was fortunate enough that I had that premonition 17 years ago. And so I'm a little more schooled than most when it comes to the subject. But as you become, and each of us has that journey, right? I mean, everyone here has an amazing number of resources, that will aid you in your conviction. I didn't have any of those. I did my work on my own, because a lot of the people that I would consult with would argue with me, because what I was going over was counter to even those that were leaders in the wellness space. What I was going over with them was counterproductive to their message. But I knew I was right. And now we have, such tremendous resources of all different kinds. Amazing PhDs like Christina and Dory, and amazing MDs and athletes and moms. And I mean, you can watch babies and go, okay, like Michelle was going over. It's like, okay, do you want to learn from an 8-month-old? Do you want to learn from an 84-year-old that's reacting faster than 20-year-olds when racing motorcycles? We have an 84-year-old that races sport bikes that is pegging 0.00 on his reaction time. Do you know how insane that is? Because 20-year-olds don't do that. Professional racers can't peg a 0.00. He was perfect, and he's 84. So it just comes down to letting this system begin to do what it does.
Most of the outcomes that have come, it's taken over a couple of years. So it takes a while for the body to recalibrate itself. So
yeah. And that's really the process of, if you're going to get younger, and I think Teresa talked about it, Claire's hit on it, Dory's hit on it, Stephanie was hitting on it. You'll hear this more from women than you will from men, but you can see it in men, but we're not smart enough to actually process it. the process of getting younger is not something that happens like that. It's little by little by little by little by little, day after day after day. And eventually you look in the mirror and you go, I'm not the same person. And if that's the case, and if you know that your true ideal biological age is somewhere between probably 35 and 40 or 35 and 45, and you're 50, 55, 60, 65, maybe even 40, like I am. I'm 45. I know right now I'm probably closer to 30. Right? Biologically. How long is it going to take you to go back to where you're supposed to be based on what you've done to yourself and where you've been? It's a process. But going backwards is a whole hell of a lot better than getting older every day. We all get to choose that. It's like you can go one way or another. One of the greatest little pieces of content that I got from actually a financial conference that I went to is that of being like a flower. That you are one of two things, because life and everything we do is never stagnant, right? Nothing ever stands still. You're either growing or decaying every day. So you're either choosing to continue to grow or you're dying. You choose. Everyone here is growing because all we do is a couple little things, and you're going to continue to grow, which means you continually get to go backwards and function a little better. If you don't, you're one day closer to death. Sometimes that card gets pulled a little earlier than you might expect. Because if you're not doing the things to grow, your decay and your demise might be a lot quicker than you've expected. And especially in today's world, where other people are making choices for themselves that maybe they aren't aware of the consequence. And those choices actually are having consequences for even the people around them that didn't make the same choices. If you're not doing things to take care of yourself and protect yourself from the environment on the outside, but also the environment on the inside, you're going to leave yourself susceptible to plans from people that were a lot more nefarious than maybe you'd ever thought people could be. So I might go over that a little bit when I'm talking about the pineal gland on stage too. They might remove me.
No, I think they'll really, it'll be a breath of fresh air for them.
You only have 45 minutes, right?
Yeah, only 45 minutes, yes. And
I get a lot done in 45 minutes. It's a good thing they speak the King's English there, because I'll be able to enunciate quite well, and they'll go, weird accent. Yes, I do. So I'm actually doing my show today, which I haven't done in like a month. So I got a couple minutes, and then I have to go get ready to do the quantum shift. And I'm going to go rant about a whole bunch of stuff. You know what happens when I have a month to just build stuff up in my head and I don't get to express it?
Wow.
Especially since I'm banned on Facebook right now. I can't comment. I can't make posts. I can't respond. I can't even like stuff right now. It's like,
oh dear.
I'm like,
Facebook jam.
They keep making it worse on me too. They're like, for 29 days, your posts are going to be lower on the on your news feed. I'm like, oh, you think I do it so I'm on my news feed? This is therapy for me.
You still got Instagram though, haven't you?
I'm not allowed on Instagram. I'm prone to posting things that people find to be offensive. So that's managed for me. And if I get more than 6 followers, I think I have like 1,000 followers or something. I don't know how that happened. But if I have more than 6 followers, I'm going to get in trouble. That's why I had to close my Twitter account. When my Twitter account got more than 10 people following, I couldn't yell in the dark anymore. It's terrible. So I had to cancel it.
Oh,
I need
hope it all changes. soon.
My real Instagram page is Tilly the dog 23.
Oh, that's you. I know. I wondered.
I'm friends with Tilly.
You should follow.
Yeah, me too.
Everyone should follow Tilly. There might be some
yeah.
appearances in the future.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and end the call today. Thank you
Yeah.
everyone for coming by. We will see you next week. We will have a really exciting call next week. Right, Claire?
Yes, it's going to be
And
good.
when we do this call, you're going to see that everyone that you meet, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You'll need this. You'll need this product. We're going to talk about one of the most important things that your body needs. So be on the call next week.
You're
going to enjoy it. It's fun.
There should be 2 million people on next week's call.
I only have seat for 500.
Okay. Well, then
We had 200 today.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your wonderful stories and your testimonials and the outcomes. That's what's important. And again, please go on to ISNS website, download the case study report and send them